There's the live light. You know, I have this cute red light in the upper corner of my control panel, and when it comes on, it means we're live. And I'm happy to be live because I'm Max. I rant, hence the name of this show is Max Rants. Today I want to rant about something that really is close to my heart, as many things are, but I think this will apply to you. Let me move this keyboard out of the way. There we go. I know a lot of folks are going to disagree with me, and a lot will agree. But I'm not here to be all things to all people. If I make you happy, that's nice. If I make you angry, that's equally nice. Okay? Now let's talk about it. Tattooing. I guess if I had to give this show a title, I'd say think before you ink, because it's a relatively permanent decision. So think before you ink. Now, I was abroad for close to 25 years, and I cannot believe how many Americans have tattoos. I came back, okay, when I left the United States, tattoos among women were almost unheard of, except for whores. And men, not too many. Your military guys would have them, a sailor would have one, but even those guys didn't have a lot of visible tattoos, visible being on the hands, on the face, on the neck, below the knee. Those kind of tattoos belonged to gangbangers, prison inmates, and the mentally unstable. But that's before I left. I came back, and good God Almighty, it's like there's a tattoo parlor on every corner. Used to be convenience stores, gas stations. Now it's tattoo parlors. And it seems like pretty much every demographic, every age, every part of the walk of life has got tattoos. I mean, hell, I've seen people my age and older with visible tattoos. I was up at the hospital the other day. Guy was close to 80. There are these neck and face tattoos. What the hell is going wrong? What's going on? You know, I finally decided to look up some people I've spoken with in the past. And this is Dr. Vera Niles. She's a psychologist, PhD, licensed clinical psychologist. Here's what she says about tattoos and people who wear them. This is a quote. Here we go. Quote, "The want or need of a tattoo is almost universally connected to self-worth issues. A sane or reasonably well-adjusted individual doesn't tattoo in those areas of the body which are almost always visible to others." End quote. Hear what she said? That your well-adjusted people just don't go getting tattoos on their face and the hands and the wrists and below the knees, these visible tattoos. And she went on, she said, here comes the quote again, "It's either an exhibitionist tendency or some deeper element of a person's psyche that sits at the root of having a visible tattoo." End quote. What she's saying is there's something deeply mentally wrong with these people and their visible tattoos. She said, "The power of peer pressure is not to be underestimated. People will do just about anything to fit in, especially with peer groups who are already tattooed. The need for tattooing, in my humble opinion, and those of many doctors I've talked to, it's unhealthy. You feel like you got to have a tat. Why? I want to express my love for my grandfather. Whatever. You think your grandfather had a tat? Come on. It's peer pressure, plain and simple. And that peer pressure itself is an issue of self-esteem. There are people who just have to follow. There are leaders, there are followers. You see the tats all over the face? Probably followers. Dr. Emanuel Gonzales, PhD, quote, "A first tattoo often triggers a drive for more. It's a form of addiction, and it's fueled by the ego and an almost universally present lack of self-esteem," end quote. What he's saying is they got horrible self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves. They get a tattoo. They get a second tattoo. And before you know it, tattoo. Some of these people with sleeves and shirts, Come on. I've seen guys where the shirt goes right up the neck, right up the side of the head. Is it sick? Yeah, it's sick. It sucks, is what it does. Come on. It's a form of addiction. And understand, a lot of people will lie, cheat, and steal to afford their tattoos. Because I want to tell you what, tattoos are not cheap. Good tattoos are expensive. Only thing more expensive than a tattoo is having it taken off. It costs about 4 to 5 times as much to remove a tattoo as it did to get it. And when they're removed, it takes a while yet for the skin pigment to return to normal, so it's not obvious that you had one. Okay? I talked with Arnold Ames. Arnold is a retired detective sergeant. He worked with the New York City gang unit. What? Oh, 20 years on the gang unit. He said, here's what he said. These people will get as many tattoos as they can, often having to balance their budget between drugs and tattoos. We, law enforcement personnel, have seen a direct connection between tattoos and criminal behavior both in and out of the gang environment. For example, if you see a guy with a traditional teardrop tattoo near the outside corner of his eye, you know that he's been somebody's bitch, all right, at least once. You see 2 of these drops, he's been somebody's bitch twice, and so on. That's his quote. This man knows what the hell he's talking about. Let me get rid of that little crapper and turn my phone off. Just a minute here. Power off. There you go. I can hear it in my hearing aids, and I didn't want this guy to call. He knows I'm on the air. Let's move along. Here's Dr. Barnaby Tinium. Dr. Tinium is a professor of criminal and abnormal psychology, specializing in gang crime. And understand, this is what he has to say about tattoos and why it should give you pause before you put this permanent mark on you. Remember that multiple tats almost always connect to or link to criminal behavior. He said, I quote, comparing these young people with tattoos and those without tattoos, the tattooed individuals stand a 700% better chance of having a run-in with the law, a better than 600% chance of ending up in jail or prison, and a better than 300% chance of dying a violent death. This has a lot to do with how a person feels about himself. These people are often followers and rarely ever leaders in their own society. It has a lot to do with the type of people who traditionally tattoo themselves and their association with those vulnerable first tattooers, people getting their first tattoo. I can't disagree with him. Here's what he said. Yeah, he said young people age 18 to 25 are the most vulnerable, followed by those 25 to 40, and finally by the, thank God, smaller percentage of over 40s. Now, you're going to love this, okay? I saw this guy with a tat, and it was like a rich scroll across his chest. Well done. Good ink. And on it, it said Leviticus 19:28. That's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 28, from the King James Bible. Here's what it says. This made me, I had to laugh because it was so stupid. Leviticus 19:28, quote, Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord, end quote. God is saying you got to cut into your body to plant the inks. He said, don't cut your body. He said, don't print any marks. He's flat telling you tattooing is wrong. It's in the Bible. I looked through 5 versions of the Bible. It pretty much says the same thing. Understand, Christianity's views of tattoos should be, if they follow the Bible, negative. And the same prohibition exists in Islam and Judaism. Guys, God does not like tattoos, all right? Getting a job or a promotion, even within your own job, can be a lot tougher with visible tattoos. Understand, again, a visible tattoo is on the face, the neck, the forearms, the hands, the lower legs. places where they're more apt to show most of the time. Well, according to the 2020 Job Search Survey, 71% of job seekers with tattoos will be unable to get a job or promotion because of their visible tattoos. Now, that's down from 84% just 20 years ago, which means that they must be gaining some popularity. Still, it's a slow and steep curve, okay, all the way toward general acceptance. I won't live long enough to see them fully accepted. You should see how they are in Asia about this. No, they're not nearly as liberal as the West, US, Canada, Europe, Great Britain, blah, blah, blah. Let's move along. A negative bias against tattoos still exists in every business sector. I'll turn my page. It does. Almost all businesses have a negative view of tattoos. Who's going to hire you with visible tats? HR in 10 Fortune 500 companies say that over 85% of HR preferred their final candidates not to show any tattoos. I got a hold of Gloria in New York, HR manager for a big company. She said, I quote, visible tattoos can be fatal for a low, middle, or upper management position. As soon as I see the tattoo, their resumes will be headed straight for the shredder. I know what upper management wants, and I know what the shareholders want, and I give them what they want, end quote. That's probably why you don't see a lot of, high-end guys like presidents, vice presidents, CEOs, COOs with visible tattoos. I had to cough, sorry. How about this one? Medical reason not to do it. Medical. Blocked sweat glands, and they do get blocked by these metal salts and stuff in the ink. Blocked sweat glands lead to problems, especially as you get older. I talked to Dr. Thad Driller, MD. He's a dermatologist, and he says, quote, tattoos blocking any number of pores can lead to really serious problems. From pimples that won't go away to erupting sores and leaking lesions, I've seen it all. I say nearly all of it, because there's always some new tattoo complication coming in my door, end quote. How about this? The risk of skin cancer. Plastic surgeon Dr. Cormac Joyce said, the purpose of tattooing, The process of tattooing involves the integration of metallic salts and organic dyes into the dermal layer of the skin. She said, breaking into the skin and causing this inflammation could lead to malignant transformation. In medical terms, that means cancer. Yes, these things won't directly give you cancer. Maybe they will, but the application of this foreign inks under your body, under your skin, come on, it doesn't just stop there. It gets into your blood. God knows what the hell's going to happen. So it's this simple, people. Think hard, think before you ink. Tats are risky, unhealthy, unnecessary. And would you want your child to marry someone with visible tattoos? Come on. Why would you put something on your body that you wouldn't want your mama to see if you know who your mama is, or your grandma, or your pa, whoever? Why would you do that? Come on. When it comes to tattoos, do think before you ink.